Welcome back, everybody. I just had a quick question. I just settled all my lawsuits, and after all was said and done, let me tell you a little bit about this year. I played Magic the Gathering when I was a kid in high school. It came along around the time I was a freshman. I was the class of 97, um, Rice Lake High School. Yes. Graduated right in the middle of my class, and uh, every morning in the cafeteria, we had a la carte Pop Tarts and Snickers ice cream bars. Okay, I'll get you something. And this will be really quick. 5-minute video. It takes 30 minutes. Uh, Webcam from 1997, by the way. I dug out of the of an old box because I was thinking about I need to start making these videos. It should clear up, actually. It warms up. This video camera is so old that after a couple of minutes it warms up like an old UHF television. Anyway, from 7 to 8 a.m., the worst thing that you could do was go to the high school cafeteria, load up on Pop Tarts and play Magic the Gathering before school, but some kids would. And it was really the death knell in your aspirations of popularity, which I never had any delusions of grandeur. Anyway, I played Magic in the morning. Wasn't a die-hard player like some of the guys I remember. A guy named Tim who had all the good cards. It was amazing. To go back and tell myself, stop collecting Rage. Do not collect Illuminati. Do not collect Vampire, Jihad, Haborian Gates. Do not collect all the other card games. Only collect Magic. Anyway, I had Magic cards, but anyway, I moved about 20 times from 18 to 38. So whatever Magic cards I would have collected through this time travel back to my younger self, I would have lost during one of the 20 moves. I managed though earlier this summer to find my cards, some of my cards. It was about April, I guess, of this year, 2024. And I realized I had found them before along the way, and I have lost a lot of them, but I found some. I found an old revised dual land Tundra, and I found Helm of Obedience. Yeah, I know. I'm getting to that. And I found a card called what is it? My other good one. My top three that I found. Helm, Tundra, and think of it. What's the other one that I have that's pretty, yeah, Goblin Kings. I that was my favorite card. No, not Krark. Uh boy, I'm not gonna be very good doing this if this is what I thought. I thought I'll polish off the old webcam, dig it out, start talking about Magic the Gathering, and everybody will listen because I'm OG. I really do go back all the way to the beginning. I have some insights here. Yawgmoth, Yawgmoth's Will, that's the other one. One of the last probably starter decks that I bought had Yawgmoth's Will in it. Just sitting in like a Urza's, 75 additional cards. That was really my last throes of playing the game in college where I got back into it. So I played in high school, didn't touch it for a few years because I was interested in, my girlfriend and driving and stuff. And then in college, a group of guys suddenly were playing it again. I was like, "Oh, let me tell you something." I got my old cards out, and they're like, "Wow, these are ancient." But what, 4 years had gone by? Played it with them, had more money, had more cash flow, so I was able to buy some of that Urza stuff. That's when I got Yawgmoth's Will and then put them all away for the last time. Lost a bunch of them in a storage unit or something. Tragic. Found But then this year, doing some cleaning. What's in these old boxes? Found some old Transformers. I have a young son, loves those. Found a bunch of cards, most of which were not Magic, and so yeah, Rage, Illuminati, Netrunner. Go to eBay. It's all just nothing. Nothing's worth anything except Magic. And then, of course, my son saw me sorting through these. Said, "What's that? What are these?" I was like, "Well, son, pull up a chair." And we're sorting Magic cards. Looked on Facebook Marketplace, and this guy in St. Paul was he had a garage full of cards of what I would learn is called bulk. And he was like, "I'm selling 1 million cards for $100." And I, used that as my invitation into my midlife crisis to pick up a trunk full of cards, bring them home, start sorting. Like, what happened? Somewhere along the way, Magic went from the recovery of fallen empires into the Urza block and managed to recapture some college nerds who were high school nerds. And so I rode that train, chased that dragon for a while, uh, and then had an adult life for 20 plus years. And I was on YouTube and I watched this documentary about the history of the Black Lotus, the most popular Magic card of all time. And the production value of this documentary, I'm a media studies professor now, uh, I thought was thrilling. It was thrilling because I teach in one of my classes about how vocation and your calling may be tied to what you collect. And I'm very fascinated by what people collect. My mother collects little angel figurines, and my father collects old knives from the military days. And if you get them talking about why they collect these particular items, it opens up this huge conversation. And you can tell that people are very passionate about what they collect. And so I thought, what do I collect? What? Yeah, well, I bought that trunk full of Magic cards, and I thought, well, it's so daunting to try to figure out what Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, what they've done over the last 30 plus years with this game. Why does it have such legs? What? I'm just making a YouTube video with my old webcam from 1997. It's because, okay, so I watched these videos, the Tolarian Academy, and uh, I don't recognize that man specifically, the professor, but I know a lot of guys like that. That's my generation. And then I saw this guy on Alpha Investments. His name is Rudy. He's in Florida. He has a card shop. And I realized I was spending like hours and hours and hours listening to these guys talk shop about the nuts and bolts of collecting. And if you look behind me, you probably can't see much, but this is my office, and you can see that I'm one of these. I'm one of these people, and I've shied away from doing anything video related for years because it usually devolves into something political, and people start to get addicted to the idea of whether they have likes and subscribers and followers. I probably the main reason why I've never done anything like this for years is because I teach media studies. And if there's one thing I could teach you about the media, it's that you should avoid, avoid any big media. So, um, but here is a topic. Oh, huge media company, of course. Here's a topic that I think is apolitical for the most part, unless you want to talk about the coffers of Wizards of the Coast, but it's kind of a good spirited. I think a lot of the people who have played all along or gotten back into it, they realize it's a money sink, it's nostalgia, it's a lot of things. But full disclosure, I've been working on a collectible card game for over a year in the development stages. I've got some funding to do some test games, and it's been a passion project for me ever since my science fiction novel made its very quiet debut to nobody on Amazon, independently published, and I'm not even going to promote it or plug it or anything. I've just been an academic for a long time, so it gives me room to pursue my interests, my scholarship, and my scholarship has just uh, inched ever closer to this total pipe dream I have of unleashing a card game onto the world stage. And the model, of course, for this is 1993, Richard Garfield, Milwaukee, Gen Con, unleashing alpha on the world. And so in the weeks and months ahead, I have a studio. I don't always work out of my cluttered office. I have an amazing studio with great, podcast microphones, and I've been feeling like I want to do an interview podcast based media of some kind, and I don't want to do anything political or overly intellectual. I when I think of all the things that I could do and what I like to do the most, um, I've spent this year sorting out magic cards and introducing my young son to the game, and I've enjoyed it so much that I thought, hell, there's a lot to talk about in that realm. It's a good game, and it has a history, and I know some people who are historians of this history. So I'm going to interview them. I'm going to have some shows. This is almost like a vision board, this moment, making this short video. Um, I don't know if it'll lead to something or nothing, but uh, I plan on doing some game testing, some beta testing, and I'll be looking for players, no cost, no obligation, just people who actually know how this stuff works. Okay, that's it. In the weeks and months ahead, I will have more videos to further explain and flesh out. But the reason I decided to do this was because Rudy from I don't know, from Florida, um, he did this really awesome thing when he first leased a space to open either a second collectible card shop or something. From soup to nuts, all the boring details. He was talking about negotiating his lease and all this stuff. And I thought, now that's a regular guy. That's just a normal guy um, who had a couple of talents, and one of them was that he was not shy to be on camera and he was willing to share what he was doing. And that decision uh, has made an impact in the lives of a lot of people. Well, not so much, but I will. I will talk about you as time goes on. I was talking about Rudy. Uh, Rudy, I don't know, but he likes Magic the Gathering, and he's willing to talk about the nuts and bolts of negotiating a lease and things. And I watched this for hours, and I was like, yeah, good. YouTube is finally being used for something productive. Anyway, that's enough. Stay tuned.